Welcome to Sharbi, the meme queen that's been shaking up Ethereum, Solana, and Shibarium since January 2023. Sharbi isn't just another meme coin, it's a sleeping giant with real utility and passive income built right in. And guess what? We're still massively undervalued. But that won't last long. With our Sharbi Dream Factory and volume boosters, we're driving real volume and delivering real impact, helping projects skyrocket. And here's the best part. Over $1 million in rewards have already been paid out to our loyal holders. But that's just the beginning. Sharbi.fun is launching soon, a revolutionary platform where you can launch big, earn big, and get rewarded. Our goal? 100 million market cap, and we're just getting started. So do yourself a favor and buy Sharbi now.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. I just came off of Spaces and they were in Australia and it was mid-morning Sunday. So we always know when we get onto these spaces that anyone can be in any part of their day. This is all dolled up from Sharbi. And we have put together this really special evening here with Volt Inu. We have Jin and Elle with us. Thank you so much to the two of you for joining me. A few weeks ago, I was in a Spaces with the Volt Inu community, and it was really energetic. It was really, I guess, empowering and inspiring. And so I DM'd with Jen afterward, and I said, hey, you know, would you be willing to come in and do a live stream with me and just have conversation, and we can share Volt Inu, because I definitely want to know more. And as you know, when we are working in our own projects, we don't always have that time to do, say, our own research, our own DYOR, or take deep dives. But this community, like, I see them, they are strong, they band together, they're always working, always grinding. And I just wanted to know more. I've seen them since I entered the space almost 2 years ago. And so I thought this would be a great opportunity to meet with them and have them tell us about their project and what they have going on, kind of where they've been and where they're going. And so thank you to both of you for being here with me tonight. If one of you want to go ahead and start, just introduce yourselves and kind of tell us maybe the backstory or when you got involved with Volt Inu and how that came to be.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Really appreciate you offering to share this time with us. I'm Jin Token. I've been with Volt since day 13 of the project. I found it about a week before that. Spent some time doing some research and then dove in, and I have been here ever since. And I've just become stronger and stronger in my belief in the project. And there is a long story, to Volt Inu. But why don't I let, Elle just introduce herself, and then, I can tell you some more and we can go back and forth.
Yeah, hi, good evening. It's evening here for me. And thank you for having us here. I'm excited. Yeah, I've been involved since March so it launched in December of 21 and I got in March of 22, so about 2.5 months after it launched. And yeah, it's been exciting. Since day one, it's been nonstop, so it's I'm glad to be here. And yeah, let's get it going. Let's get vaulted. Can we say?
I love it. Let's get vaulted. Well, awesome. So you guys have both kind of been there, I guess, almost from the beginning. And so it launched in December of 21. Did I get that right?
That's correct.
Okay. So you're coming up on 3 years, or gosh, 22. Yeah, you guys have been here. Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, Jen, if you want to take us back just a little bit, and just kind of give us a platform of Volt, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Sure, sure. Yeah. So, we are almost at our third year anniversary. And what's really cool is that we have really just been around in the bear market. We have not, had any chance to see what we're like in the bull market. And so we're super excited because, we work with Voltoshi, who is our dev, and he has just delivered after delivered after delivered this entire bear market, and he's been there every single day with us. He hasn't taken a break, he hasn't taken a day off, and so we really have been building. And this token has continued to grow. We're on three chains. We started on ETH, and I believe it was about 3 weeks later that we bridged to the Binance chain as well. And to sort of show in part why we consider ourselves sort of the people's token, that sort of comes from how Voltoshi rolls. The reason that we launched or bridged over to the Binance chain was because people in the Telegram, were here from around the world, and we had a lot of community members from Africa just sort of saying, what, we want to buy Volt, but you know what, these Ethereum fees are just killing us, right? And so Voltoshi said, what, okay, let's do something about it, and he bridges over to the Binance chain, and that made it possible for people around the world that had no chance whatsoever to be able to pay those Ethereum fees. And you can remember what they were the last bull run. I mean, they were insane. I mean, I spent like $700, on ETH fees on a single trade, at times, right? And I, that by no means could I afford it, but I could at least afford to do it when I had to. People around the world, everybody can do that, right? So, Voltoshi, wanted to just make this a token that was accessible for everybody, and he just started right there, and that was like week 3, right? We started paying utility bills for people, and he did these things on the regular. He was just going to make this token work for everybody. And it became pretty clear very shortly into this token that he really meant to make this a people's token, because he started to drop big utilities that meant that this could have actually been a blue chip token. But he chose to price this as a meme, meaning, as I look at it, we started out with like 18 zeros, I think, and worked our way down from there, rather than pricing this, at a $70 token. Which would have meant that all of us, could have only, afford to buy a small amount. I mean, take a look at how much you can buy when you're buying, expensive tokens, where this was going to be a token that we could all afford to change our lives in, right? And so even now, yes, whales do buy the token. However, we've had a chance to get in there and buy first. And so it's really exciting to be part of something where you've got a dev who's actually literally looking after the people. And so, now you can buy the token on Ethereum, on Binance, and on Polygon. And our utilities, have just continued to deliver. We've been a hyper deflationary token. We started out with a 13% tax in and out, and that money was initially used for burns, where we got reflections, and we also did intensive marketing. We had buses around the world. We had buses in Germany. We had buses, I believe it was in Turkey. We had all sorts of marketing in the malls in different European countries, and not just places, not those places everybody thinks about, as like Paris and Europe, but other smaller European countries. It really was about reaching everybody. We had buses all over different American places as well. We've got one family. We've got a guy named Jason, and he and his wife are now super volted. And he, talks about how impactful seeing those buses were. In LA, I believe is where he saw them, and just this marketing. Voltoshi did a real strong push on marketing, and we've got here in the States, people do DoorDash, that kind of thing. In Australia, people were delivering food on e-bikes. We've got people had their e-bikes marked up with Volt, and people were getting flyers delivered with their food. Just a heavy hand on the marketing. We had MMA fighters that were being sponsored. We actually have an MMA fighter by the name of Big Cat, and he was sponsored by Voltoshi. He was given money to get surgery, to get his life back in order, so he could actually get his health in order, so he could fight again. Which was his passion, which was what had sort of, in his words, had sort of saved his life was finding MMA, and so as he got his health back in order, there was actually a documentary made about him, and that's actually going to be on. It's either going to be on Netflix or Hulu, I think, are the two that are sort of bartering it out as to who's going to take it, and that's going to be in living rooms across the world, right? Watching this documentary, of which is Volt is literally sort of worn, on every T-shirt, on every clothing article throughout it. And Big Cat still gives us shout outs constantly, cheering Volt. Just the marketing is unique, right? So that's just sort of some of the things to sort of start with, and that doesn't even sort of touch about sort of utilities or any of those other things around the token, but that's just sort of a little bit around sort of the very start of Voltinu.
Very
If I could
interesting.
just add, yeah, no, I was thinking, Jen, as you were speaking, um, just his character alone. I mean, not only was he paying like people's utility bills, but he even did like that Toys for Tots type of deal where he funded like Christmas gifts for little kids. I mean, just so many great things, and the marketing and the advertising was so aggressive. And keep in mind, this is during the bear. We're getting deeper in the bear as end of 21, and we're entering 22, and then and beyond. But his idea is get Inu on everybody's eyeballs, and it was so perfectly done and so aggressively that it just kind of blows my mind to think, with the bull market coming up, what is he able to do? If he was doing that then, we know that he's gonna go maybe even harder now that we're trying to onboard a lot of these people that aren't even into crypto. So it's really exciting, and it's he doesn't skimp. That's kind of how we feel about it. If he's gonna go after something or create something, it's usable, it's workable, it works almost right away. And if there's a little bug or whatever, he fixes it right away, and then that's it. So I wanted to add that too as well.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I think, do you guys think that, so I don't know how many holders there are currently, but in crypto Twitter and in these social media platforms, I was telling Jen before we came on, like I would see Volt on social media, just like it would show up in my feed, right? Like I wasn't searching it, and these community members, I would just follow them, and then I would see they were part of the Volt Inu community. I feel like you guys have a very, very strong community. Just in our posts today, like the second Volt knew that Sharbi had posted the announcement of this kind of meeting tonight and this hangout. Here in the masses, here comes the Volt community. How do you guys keep that so strong? Do you feel like, and you talked about onboarding because you haven't been in a bull run. So my question is for those like listening, you have a very strong community, a strong presence. What do you think has made that? And I can definitely see the Voltoshi being part of that. I mean, just the goodness he's giving back to the people, making this all about the people. But what do you think else contributes to that really strong community? And then going into the bull run, I think you nailed it, Elle, because I was thinking the same thing before you spoke. Like, oh gosh, I mean, can you imagine the impact during the bear? What is Volt doing to prepare for the bull run? So when you think about onboarding those that maybe are new to crypto, where do you guys stand on those two things, the community part and then kind of onboarding the newcomer, the new person to the room?
I think one of the aspects that has helped make the Volt Army so strong is our Telegram. Our Telegram has been open 24/7 since the day that we launched the token. And I think that's unique. It has literally never shut down. And so you've got a group of individuals in there that really get to know each other. And we're, a multicultural group of all different ages, from around the world, all different backgrounds, and, I think when you throw a group of individuals like that together and they get to know each other, it's kind of like brothers and sisters, in a sense. And so, yeah, I mean, there are some, rougher days than others, but mostly you get people who are in there and are talking and conversing and trying to get to know each other's perspective on, sort of crypto and what's going on. And you get a supportive group of people. And you've got Voltoshi in there who is, dropping, tweets, and he's got a sense of humor, right? Which definitely helps, right? And so, people are in there and, chit chatting, also working hard together, Voltoshi would, drop something and somebody would read it out and then we'd all go and we would hit it, kind of thing. So that aspect there. But you've got people in there that have knowledge that people are keen to soak up. And so when people are sharing, real conversations go on, and that in itself, has been a huge piece. You've got people that have been in crypto for a long time, and then you've got absolutely new people, and then you've got people who are catching up, and people are treated really well. People want to help people grow and learn, and that's really supported in there. It is a space where women are treated well and respected, and I can't say that that's the place or that's the thing everywhere that I have been, and so that encourages people to stay as well. It's a place that you can go in and have some fun chit chat, and there's lots of memes flying around, and there's lots of just sort of laughter. People play music. It's a place to kind of unwind, but it's also a place that it really has been a place to tap into a lot of knowledge, and I think that whole place where people really go to learn. And that people have given freely, of what they have, to offer. I have learned a tremendous amount, in the Telegram. It's become sort of it's become my radio, right? So, when I can't be talking, but I can be listening to something, I'll just plug that in. If I'm in the car, if I'm at work, whatever it is, I can have that ear in there, and it's amazing the gems that you pick up. And I think that makes people want to sort of be there, and you kind of hook in. And you hear more about the project. You're learning all the time, even if you're not, you're not conscious of it. I think it's that absorption that really is key as well. And you want to be there because you're going to learn. That's been a big part of it for me, and I think that's a big part of it for a lot of people. What do you think, Elle?
No, I agree. And what I also want to say, Jen, that's 100% spot on. Like Jen stated, for me as well, we learned a lot in there. Imagine walking into the crypto space completely blind, deaf and dumb, and you're just like, how do I navigate? And you have these, amazing people here that have been in the crypto space a lot longer, and they're just freely, giving out information. And I think the mentality behind it is we educate our investors, then we have a strong army. And I think that's why a lot of the BC and the Telegram helped a lot of people, is because everyone was willing to share their experiences, their do's and don'ts. Hey, here was my screw up. Learn from me. Use cold storages and a lot of information on security and just everything. But on top of it is it's not always like vault, crypto 24/7. You start to get to learn about people and get to know them on a more personal level. So I think that's why we're so very close, is because, I mean, yeah, imagine spending 3 years every single day with people that, you get to know about their kids and their personal lives and, their birthdays and everything. But then on top of that, that's just the main chat. But we have, and it ties back to his marketing. We have, I want to say 10 to 12 different, different languages within Vault. So you don't only have like the main US Vault TG. Now you have the people, the Vault in the China TG, or in the German TG, or in the Turkish TG. So you have all these different other um, Vault communities, but then you add us all together, and I think that's why we're so massive and powerful. And when a call is sent out, man, we run all at once. So yeah, I absolutely agree, Jen. I think Telegram was open from day one, and then we had a chance to not only understand Vault, understand crypto, and understand each other, but actually come together under this Vault umbrella, and that's a that's how that's how you create one big, massive, powerful, dedicated army. Yeah.
It's really inspiring. I think that Sharbi, like, so for me, Sharbi is the very first crypto project that I have been part of, and I've now been there like 640 days, and I haven't left. RTG, like, I feel like it carries the same sentiment. We also have like our BBC chat, which I think it's like, I was telling my husband last week, like, these people have become family. Like, we do, you start to share stories. It's not always just like, what's the next development, what's the next thing you're working on, what's the alpha. But we have grown to know each other, right? And just really bonded. And so you have this connection, and that in crypto in general, I did not want to be part of crypto, or for years I was just like the wife on the sideline. But once I came into Sharbi, and then when you have that freedom to kind of, whether it's an idea or an initiative that you want to lead, and you find this group of people that's behind you, it's very empowering, and you have this acceptance and all these things. And I found my authentic self, or part of it, being in this space. It's more rewarding than I don't even know how to sometimes put it into words. I've just self-fulfillment, and then the friendships and the relationships, it's invaluable. And then you become part of, right? Like, you are Volt, or I do feel like I am Sharbi, right? So I love to hear that. Now, can I ask, when you say the TG's been open, is it VC has been open since day one, or just like the chat, like someone's always there? I'm curious.
No, we mean the. Go ahead, Jen. I'm sorry.
No, finish up. I'm sorry.
No, we mean the VC as well. The voice chat has been open 24/7. Yeah.
That is amazing. Wow. How cool
It's
is
really
that?
like, yeah, it's really like we're here. Anybody could come in at any time of the day, and all they got to do is, get in the VC and say, hey, I have a question. And there's someone there to assist them, at all times. And again, because we're all over the world, there is absolutely someone there the whole time, whether it's, 3 a.m. Eastern, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, So yeah, it's actually very awesome.
So when people join TG, like, I not everybody does. I always like ask if we have a newcomer, someone come into the chat, and I'm always like, how did you find Sharbi? I'm always very curious. I think it gives us insight into the stream they went down, or however they happened to come upon Sharbi, right? Whether it's spaces, whether it was on TikTok, or whatever the case may be. For the two of you, were you like, how did you get into, I guess, crypto? And I'm curious, like, was Volt, how you found Volt?
Well, I got into crypto because I was rebuilding after a nasty divorce, and I tried stocks. And while I was making some money there, I realized that it was just going to take just as long as trying to increase my pension, to actually make any real difference in trying to retire any earlier. As my pension is unfortunately, it's going down, and so I'm looking to augment my pension, right, and trying to find a way to retire early. I was making money in stocks, but truly it was going to be sort of, I could see how it would take me another 20 years to truly make enough of a difference. I thought there's got to be another way, so I thought, you know what, okay, I'll try crypto, and so that's what I did. But I didn't know anybody in it at all, and so I was, on blogs and researching everything that I could, and I didn't realize that Twitter was sort of the hub. And so I was completely in my own silo. And then once I was ready and I was going to actually, buy, it took me months and months of trying to find a way to actually get my fiat into the digital world. And I was buying big tokens because I didn't know about the meme world. I was completely, on my own. And so, I was doing okay, but again, I realized, this is going to take me forever, just much like stocks. And so I eventually, heard about SHIB, and I thought, oh, okay, well, this makes a lot more sense, when you do the math, right? And so that's, where I started. And I just sort of, I went from there, made a little bit of money, and then I found a couple of other, smaller projects that, I never felt right about. I was always like one foot in, one foot out, thinking like, oh, every day I feel like, oh, should I sell? Is this the moment, right? And made a little bit of money, but took my money out. And but I realized that, if you could time it right, even if you needed to exit soon, I realized, there's something to this, massive zero number, behind the point. And so, I mean, I got lucky in how I found Volt, because after exiting, a certain project, of whom's all in jail now, I took my money, and I was literally on CoinMarketCap searching for a project that had as many zeros as possible that was absolutely fresh. I mean, it was literally my technique. I wasn't super wise into it, right? But I knew that if I could time it right, I could at least, make some money with the math. And so I saw Volt with this, ton of zeros behind it. Um, and so I found it, but I didn't quite trust what I was seeing as far as, um, what was being said. And so I took another week, to check it all out. And then I bought in, and I have never left ever since. I mean, and that week cost me a lot as far as, how many tokens I could have gotten, and what makes me a whale or not. But I mean, you live and you learn, right? I mean, it's all about doing your research, and you have to be responsible for your own choices, and that's what I needed to do. So, but that was literally how I got in, and the method that I chose to get in. So, but I'm here, and I've been building ever since.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that with us, because I feel like storytelling is valuable, and just I guess it just continues to strengthen those connections. And so being open enough to share that. I I like the thing, I got here and I never left. That's how I feel. And some days I feel like it's been a few months, and sometimes it feels like 10 years. But I feel like we're all, for me, I feel just so lucky that this all happened, right? I are blessed and all of the above, because um, we have these communities that just inspire us every day to keep coming back and being here for that. Elle, do you have anything you
Sure.
want to share?
If I can,
Yeah.
if I can, just before you do, Elle, what I'll say is that, I mean, it's kind of a humorous story as to how I found Volt and,
Yeah.
but since I did, and it's that Telegram piece that we were speaking about earlier, is that I have, listened and learned so much since finding the Telegram, and all of the people in Volt that have shared so much wisdom. And I've heard so much that I've been able to sort of pick up so much, and then I go somewhere else and I could, now I know what I'm searching for and what to look for to educate myself so much better, where before I didn't have that. And in all of those other, groups that I was in before, and projects where I was sort of felt like, oh, like I need to jump ship constantly. I had that feeling, right?
Hmm.
There was never that place of education, right? And women weren't respected, either.
Yeah.
And yet, since I landed in Volt, there was all of this free education and all of this wisdom shared so freely. And that's what you do get in Volt and in the Telegram and everywhere you go in Volt. And that's what's so tremendously, amazing, and it's been such an incredible gift, right? What I
Yeah.
have learned in the past 3 years from being around these people is, it could not be replaced or duplicated, I don't think, and so what I've learned there, and that what I've been able to sort of pick up and then go and feed myself because of it, it's invaluable.
Yeah, I think, like you were saying though, like when the voice chat is open, and you'll just be driving in the car and you pick up bits and pieces of information. I'm a few years behind you, but so when I first went into the Telegram, even though I had like this security blanket because my husband was in the chat, right? It took me maybe a month or so before, like, I would write out a message and then I would delete it. It was like I felt there was an intimidation, and it wasn't there. Like, I had the Sharbi community has always been so welcoming. I kind of feel like I feel the same way about Sharbi, but I felt intimidated, and I felt like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna come in there and there's not a lot of women like posting comments, right? And so I was like hesitant. And I think with time, it felt right. So I've been in other telegrams where you can sense that energy, right? That welcoming. Um, or like, say for instance, in some telegrams, some people will say things or question the project, and maybe you get banned, or like, right, like immediately just banned. Like in Sharbi, like, people will say things and we'll go back and forth. Like, we want to educate them, we want to support them. And just because they came in and said this, we're gonna like ask why, and we're not just gonna like ban you right from the chat. But um, so yeah, you can sense that energy, and like I get that from the Volt community. Just it's like it's just there. And I feel like in the comments too that are being shared on the multiple platforms right now that your strong army all feels that too. So it's really great to see. Um, do you want to go ahead, Elle? I had something, but it went somewhere else.
No, yeah, I agree with both of you because, of course, we're all ladies here, and it was a little hard. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I got in the TG, um, it was forever before I even uttered a word, and most of it was because I had, I had this thing where I'm like, I don't know a thing about anything. What could I possibly offer? Any knowledge, because I had none. So I'm actually here to soak up all the knowledge. I want to hear you guys. I don't have much to say. So for a very long time, I didn't I didn't speak at all, not let alone thinking I was going to be right where I am right now. So, but yeah, my onboarding is, I imagine, the same as a lot of people, because a lot of us got onboarded last cycle, and it was, you know what it was? It was Doge running crazy. And one of my coworkers, he's like, "Do you know what Doge is?" And I'm like, "No, I have no idea what that is." He's like, "It's crypto." He's like, download Rotten, now you know, right? Download Robinhood and buy it up, because it is, it's going up without a question. I'm just like, okay, let's get this going. And that's kind of how I started. Oh no, she got she got dropped or something, but I'll keep going. But um, yeah, and he's and I'm seeing Doge run up, and I'm seeing like money accumulate. But the thing I didn't know, because of course, I had no idea about market caps and liquidity and um, what goes up must come down. So, but I hung on to shit thinking it's gonna do crazy numbers like ETH or something. So I didn't really look at anything else. So I was always late to I was late to Doge. Of course, I got in at like 2 or 3 cents, so it was already had a hell of a run up. But then, I didn't get into like Twitter or anything like that until much later, and found SHIB. I think I found SHIB at like 5 zeros. So imagine all those zeros already had ate up, and I was just like, I felt like I was always like trying to, play catch up with everything that was dropping. And even though, yeah, Jen, you said, dang girl, you you were early. Even though I was a couple of months behind, it was still so early, even with Vault, that that it didn't, we knew that it's gonna go a lot higher than where we entered. So I mean, just the potential here alone is is crazy. So yeah, I got in with everyone else running after SHIB. No, after Doge. Sorry, you guys.
I'm back. Sorry, guys.
Girl, I don't know if you heard anything. No, oh no, she got dropped down. I don't know what happened.
You're getting pretty choppy there, Elle.
And I don't know if I'm coming through clear or not. I definitely don't want the listeners to hear craziness coming out of me, but we had a huge thunderstorm here in Texas today, and it's just been crappy connection ever since. I rugged on every spaces. I'm not scoring high today on the Wi-Fi. Gonna get on the roof with a tin can, I guess. But am I coming through clearly?
You are.
Okay. All right. All right.
You were getting choppy.
Am I coming through clearly? Me? I'm getting choppy, Jen.
You're getting choppier. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me.
Oh no.
Okay. Well, hopefully it stays with us. I'm happy you guys were still there. So that I missed a few seconds there. I guess it's kind of like rugging on a X space around here tonight. So I'm sorry if I interrupted anything. I'm back now. Take this from me.
Do we still have you, Elle?
Can you hear me?
I can. Give me just a second. I'm going to switch my connection.
Okay.
Okay. Are you guys there?
I'm
Yeah,
here.
There you are. I
I'm
hear you
here
now.
as well. Can you hear me?
Yes.
And let me see if Elle is still there. Yeah, okay. Well, you know what? The comments that we've gotten from all of the people joining us tonight just kind of go to show the path that Volt has taken. I think Voltoshi has.
And we lost her.
Oh, no.
You still there, Elle?
Jen, can you hear me, Jen?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, and everything good, not choppy anymore?
It's a little staticky, but it's better than it was.
I don't know what's going on, Jen. I tried everything. I don't know why.
Stand in the corner, left foot up, right hand to the bottom, touch the red
Even
circle.
that. Even that. I'm just kind of pacing
Oh, whatever you
around.
did, right there. That's better. Right there.
Right here?
Right
Perfect.
there. Stay there. Okay.
In front of
That's
the
better.
kitchen sink. Perfect.
Okay. All right. Touch the metal. Get the tinfoil around your head.
All right, I won't move from here then.
Okay. Oh, do you remember back in the days, or maybe, yeah, you would have been there. I didn't speak, in the telegram very much at all. Like for the first 6 months or more, I barely spoke in the telegram. And so I remember once, um, I was trying to say something, but it used to be hard to cut in,
Yeah,
when everybody's talking the telegram because people are so comfortable, right? And
yeah.
also, as a Canadian, we're very polite. We like to sort of wait and just,
Mm.
and so, um, even on spaces, sometimes, I have a hard time sort of getting in there, and it is kind of a Canadian thing. And so I remember on the TG once, Moneybags cutting everybody off and going, shh, shh, everybody quiet. She never speaks. It's Jin's turn. That's because I never used to speak. And so now everybody is so used to me talking everywhere and in every space, right? But I sat back for the first 6, 8 months and just absorbed everything that everybody had to offer. You know, it's such a contrast. Now everybody just
Exactly.
is so used to me, right? But
Right,
yeah.
we're just like, where's Jen? What? She's probably in that space right now. Yeah, it's perfect. And you really stepped up, and we love you for that. Absolutely.
Thanks.
I so this past week, Hero usually speaks for Sharbi, and he has been very much under the weather. He's been down for about a week now. And but I this setting here right now, I have only done one other kind of spaces like this where I just kind of am leading. I remember my very first space I hid in the closet for like an hour before. And then I was like, I'm not doing it. I can't do it. I made it through like my voice shaking. I didn't know if anyone on the other end heard the shaking, but I just was a ball of nerves, right? And it's taken me almost 21 months I've been here. And this past week has really been my moment to where I've stepped up in the spaces. I did the one with you guys, Jen, and I just felt very comfortable in your space. And so after, like if I'm doing a one-on-one like live update, I feel fine. Like I don't get nervous before. But then if I'm just going to speak on a spaces and maybe there's 40, 50, 100 people, I get very, very nervous right before. I don't know why. And I think it's only me stopping myself, right? But I was in a spaces last night, about a 4-hour space, and I'm currently in school. So I was doing homework and I just joined the space to listen, and another a lady from the Retardia um coin got up there, and she was saying the same thing, like but I think we all feel it. And so if I can give anything like for the women in the space, because I think we harbor and we stay quiet probably longer than we should, but we have to find that like safe space, or those people, the space in which we feel safe. And then once we do that, and then once we start, we're like, okay. But I want to be able to give that, to other women too, because there have been some mentors for me that, and would motivate me, and you can do it and all of that. It's just, I think it's just there. And how your community now looks to you, right? But 8 months it took you to kind of get into that safe space where you could speak. It's so interesting, and I wonder how we can, like, how that barrier could be removed. And I don't know, I maybe it's just all in each of our own time, right? Our own path, and when it can happen.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's the number one fear is like public speaking. So, it's totally normal. And I know I say that like I have this down. I don't. Um, even to this day, sometimes depending on the space, I actually I actually do better with like smaller spaces rather than bigger spaces. But you just kind of have to. I think it's yeah, you see your community, like let's say you're going up to talk about Sharbi, or we're going up to talk about Vault, and then your community comes right in. For me personally, and I'm sure Jen, you can agree as well, is when you see these dragons there, you see the Vault army in the house with you, you just kind of like you feel better. But then how like the host is also receiving you makes a big difference too. For example, I uh, I decided to hit the request button. What's today? Yesterday, and I'm like, all right, let's see if he'll bring me up. And it was during the space, and he did, and I'm like, okay, well, it took him a little bit to actually like call me on. So I had that moment to just kind of like, all right, take deep breaths, calm down. You know your project. You know this. Like the back of your hand. It's how you're just speaking facts about ball. So, but when he called me on, he literally started with, how are you? And I'm like, okay, great, perfect. I'm doing great. And then at the end, you just go back and you look, and 170,000 people tuned in. It's like, oh my God, that is, after the fact, it's like nerve wracking. But I try to like focus that it's just me and the host and just us two, and any information I'm giving him. Like, I was talking about Multi Change, one of our utilities, the DEX that burns any ERC token or any BP token, and it's just so natural when it comes out. And I know all dolled up, I'm sure you even know, like, I'm here to talk about Sharbi. I know what I'm talking about. You're confident behind it. So I think that goes a long way. And I think that's really what it takes, is seeing your own community supporting you, but then having the confidence and letting others know about your project. And like for emus, utilities are really out there to help others. So it's like we're presenting this to many other crypto projects out there. It's like, these utilities that Toshi has created is really here to help the whole space. It really began that way from the start. And most of the utilities are to, to boost the rest up somehow, one way or another, whether it's to burn your tokens or to have you off ramp with a multi card, or or earn money if you want to get into like faulty eco and so many others. I mean, just so many utilities out there. But it's a meme, like Jen started, with a little bit about Vault. It's a meme token first, and then the utilities came after. So you have kind of like best of both worlds. So yeah, it's you just as far as just to go back to kind of like, how do you get that? You it's natural. It's just natural to be like a little nervous, but know that like you have confidence in what you're sharing with others. So yeah, that's what I want to say to that. But I feel you, girl. I feel you.
I feel you too with your experience on the spaces. I think okay, so this last week, um, I thought to myself, it was just like a turning, I don't know, like a turning of the page. Because I know Sharbi, I know it like the back of my hand. I've been here 21 months. I can talk about it and I can get in a VC with other Sharbians and I can talk about it, right? No, no pause. But I'm like getting ready to get on a space and I'm like, what do I say? And it's hard for us when we have so much, right? I feel like when you have so much, it's like, how do I cram almost this amount 3+ years into 2 minutes? That's like, okay, I just want to
Exactly.
hit those
Yeah.
hot points. Okay, what hot points do I want to hit? And so these are a couple things that I thought about this week. One, I thought I need to be a little more classy aggressive because I will almost go on sometimes to the spaces and like I'm in a coffee shop, like a coffee chat, right? And I'm like, I want the people listening to understand not all the things we've done. Yes, we've done so many things, we've been through so many things, but what we can do for you or what we're going to give you. So like same with Volt, you're a meme coin, yes, but it's like it's another meme coin where you're also are giving back to your holders. There is reasons your holders um should buy because they can, it's advantageous for them, it's a good investment, and they're getting something back in return, right? So having those utilities and different things. If you want to touch on any of those, I would love to hear. But I think yes, like I thought this week I'm going to be straight to the point. Like, I want to get onto these spaces and say, we have built out the fundamentals. We have been in the trenches. We have built Sharbi to where it is an investment that's advantageous for you because ABCD, right? And so I found myself the last 2-3 days only, like the last 72 hours, I had this shift in my mindset. Like, I'm going to tell people, like, with conviction, like why Sharbi, this is why ABCD or whatever. Whereas I would just get in there and say, okay, we launched here and we're 21 months old and we did this and we did that, and then it's like my time was up and I'm like, did I tell them why it is a good investment? Did I like I missed the boat here. So I've kind of just done that the last few days because I've always known Sharbi, and goodness knows why it's so hard to get onto those spaces and just talk like you're talking in a VC with someone in the community, right? Because you could easily tell someone that comes into your TGVC, like, okay, like you want me to share? I can tell you this and that. So I feel you guys. And if you want to touch on any of the utilities, I know we're already coming up on an hour, but what's going on right now? I know you said in the spaces, well, Toshi will come in and he'll just drop a utility and it's fine-tuned, ready to go. But what's going on right now? What any of the utilities you want to touch on? I know I saw an X post with like a gold Volt card. I'd love to hear what that is, or if you want to tell us about it, either of you, and like where we're at today.
Just talking to you is fun.
Thank
You were
you.
just making me just before we go to utilities, because there is so much. What you were making me think about though is, as far as like how we sort of evaluate how we do in spaces. It's funny because I always evaluate afterwards, sort of how did I do kind of thing. I don't worry before I go into a space, right? But I do afterwards sort of think, oh, how did that go? Did I miss something, or did I do what I intended to do, kind of thing. I I find that every space is so different, kind of thing, right? And it's sort of, what is your audience like, kind of thing. And some of them can be super huge, and some of them are small, and it's different whether or not you are leading the space or um, I think what works well for me is that I tend to speak quickly. And so we have such a massive project that I can kind of just like get a bunch of things in, right? But I want to but because I'm so passionate about it, it kind of works so I can kind of like fire off a bunch of things, and hopefully I'm using enough emphasis. I think I do, right? That I can kind of hook, people, right? But one of the things that I've been thinking about lately is I don't know if you guys know who Dan Martell is. I don't know if you've ever seen him on YouTube. I spend a lot of time on YouTube. I have some problems with screens, and so with YouTube I can listen. I don't have to look, right? But so there's this guy Dan Martell. He's a does a lot of time on YouTube, but he's a software engineer, right? But he spends his time sort of sharing his thinking a lot. And at first his team gave him a lot of grief about it, because they thought he should be charging for everything. And his thinking was, no, like if I put out what I have to give, people will then want to buy what it is I have to offer. And it's, it makes me sort of think about how Voltoshi is putting things out there. He gives freely of the utilities that we have, and then we get something back in the back end, right? Like our burns, for example, right? We don't charge anything for VoltiChange, which is one of our big utilities. And anytime you burn, anytime you make a transaction on VoltiChange, you burn 0.25% of every trade, right? And so that's for the token that you're trading, and also Volt gets burned at the same time, right? But there's no request for liquidity, and there's no listing fees, right, on that utility. And so that's sort of an example of, right, I mean, again, like, why double dip, right? Some devs would. Voltoshi is not going to do that, right? But it's like, put out what we have, and we do get a little bit, in the back end off of that. And it's kind of that same sort of example. And I sort of think of, as far as being like a thought leader, Voltoshi is kind of very much that person, right? And it's, we could talk about Volti Island when we go there, as far as inviting other NFT projects to it. We can sort of talk about that as well. But I often think that's kind of the kind of like the best way to go, kind of thing. Let's put out whatever we have. Let's give as much as we have to other people, and then we'll all sort of rise to the challenge. We'll all benefit in the end, and let's be as creative as we can, with it. That's kind of what I'm hoping for, and so try to be as creative as I can in the spaces that we go to, so that we can sort of find ways that we can sort of like light a fire. And I just mean sort of like an imagination in people. And I think that that's a lot of what Volt does. It's to sort of help people see just sort of possibilities, because this entire space is is bigger than any of us, I think, even imagine or realize at this point. I mean, there's people like Elle that understand that I don't, right? It should come so much easier to her, right? And so when we go into spaces, we can all speak about something that just sort of sparks a fire, And I just think that that's a lot of what this is, right? We all have something to bring, and so that we all do it so differently. I think that's great, and that's why we need all of us doing this and sharing and speaking. And I think that's what makes it great.
I I agree with you 1,000% in that. How awesome that you like are aware of that and acknowledge it too, right? Because when others speak for Sharbi, like, we all have our own way of doing it. And I am not one to speak on, like, for me, if I'm doing like any analysis or tech, I just have my husband for that. Like, that's not my strongest asset. But we all are human capital to our projects. We all are bringing value, and the project is continuing because of us in the community, what our communities are both building, right? So we do have these valuable human assets in our groups, and love that like when, so like for me in spaces, like you said, like I read the room, like, and so I'll just read the room, especially if I'm not first up or something. But what is that space is about? What's the energy in there? What has those like said before me? And I kind of just do a read of the room, and then in my mind, I just go off of that energy, right? So like from one space to the next, I just might approach it differently, but having, if I could give any advice though, is that like what you're going to speak about, or picking that one thing and then just highlighting it. I think that can be more beneficial than like what I was previously doing the last few weeks. Is like I would just start like with the same thing each time. But anyone can go into our website or any of our, when they're taking their deep dive, doing their research, and they can find out those things, right? Like, oh, they launched here. Oh, they're multi-chain. I want to like highlight something that is going to maybe spark that interest, or at least get them to the website, or to come in and meet us. So, Jen, you're just a ball of knowledge. It's really great. It's really inspiring. And you too, Elle, like, really cool. Really cool. And you know what? We hit 1,000 live viewers a few moments ago. We're currently at 1,040 live people watching live. So thank you. I just want to give a shout out to each and every one of you that is watching us live, because this is like my first time kind of presenting a project and getting to meet them. And so thank you to everyone that has come in and supported this stream with us. Appreciate it.
Certainly do.
Yeah, that's amazing. you could have looked the numbers out, girl. What were you just saying?
I mean, I'm not feeling
totally
nervous
joking with
at
you.
all. I'm not feeling
that's
nervous
lovely.
at all. No nerves for me right now, until I think of what if I was up on stage and there was 1,058 people out there in the audience.
No,
would
I'm
just
just
roll with
teasing you. Yeah, exactly. No, it's I love this one-on-one because it's just us three, chatting with each other, and I totally agree with the whole everybody has their own way and their own flavor, but yes, go in, wow them. You want to wow them, and I know you asked about the Vaulty card as one of our utilities, but and it is one of the most bullish utilities because it's an off ramp that's like a physical card, but also a virtual card that all you need is an email address. Now you can just come up with an email address at will. It's like, oh, okay, Sharbi1234 @gmail. and how do they know? But the off ramp is bullish because man, your limits are outrageous. I know Jen is better at talking about this, but imagine off ramping $175,000 a month, or $150,000 a day, and I think your withdrawal limit is like $2,000 a day. And we know all this stuff is gonna go badonkers, as Willie, one of our army members, likes to say. How do you off ramp when you make this money? They say it's not hard to make the money, so we know it's coming, especially with this bull run that we're anticipating. And all these projects, especially projects like Sharbi or Inu and a lot of other ones out there, but the ones that stuck around and worked their butts off during the bear, that held conviction and had their head down and were grinding. It's these tokens that are going to succeed, and that we see I know Jen, because Jen sent me a video, and we're seeing more and more people talking about how, projects with bullish armies and conviction and, that have held on and gaining new holders and have a solid floor and, all these kind of beautiful things behind projects that make it. Besides the great developers, the army um, is a big part of it as well. So you have these two, great ingredients, and then you create these projects. It gives your developers time, like Boltoshi, to create amazing utilities, and then it gives us, the army, time to not only, educate others out there, but ourselves. So you grow together. We had 3 years to grow um, ourselves individually as an army, but then as a project. And you bring this to the table at the very end, where it's like bull run starts right now. 3, 2, 1, go. And it's just like so exciting to see what Volcano could do, because it just um it's like, show us what you could do, because you've done amazing this whole time. But I know you want to shine during the bull run, and that's what I'm really excited about.
Love it. I love it. I think you guys are going to shine. But you did touch on, on the off ramping with the card. What is it called again? Just so I have it right.
It's the Volti card.
The Volti card. I love it. I love all the names of the utilities too. It's freaking cool. I was thinking the other day, your holders, right? Or those listening that might invest, when a project has these things in place, especially like ways to off ramp, I mean, we have the longevity there, of course, Volt long, twice as long as Sharbi. There's not a lot of us around in that meme space, right? We sit in that crypto Twitter meme space. And I think anyone listening, like, this bull run is coming, right? I've never been in a bull run. You two have not, if I'm correct. And so I know we're so busy. We're busy shilling, we're busy grinding, working, being part of our community, being a steward for our communities, being part of our armies. But I think that everyone needs to take a few moments and make sure you have a plan in place, or you have safe, you do like a check-in on your safety, on your wallets, on all of your, your assets. These are your assets. You are a bank. A lot of people are not used to being their own banks, right? And we become like our own financial institutions in crypto. And so as we hear of this bull run on the horizon, I think it's very important that each investor in our communities, and those that might invest in listening, or when you come into crypto, that you have a plan in place, because things can happen very quickly. And just know for you what you're going to do, and make sure that it is safe and you have all the security measures. And I just want to reiterate that, because it's moving so fast right now, and time is just flying by. I mean, is it Christmas tomorrow? I don't, it feels like it. I can't believe it's November. So I just wanted to do like a reminder to each one of us, because a lot of us are grinding, working, or have day jobs. We're not crypto full time. Make sure that when those moments happen, you just have your own plan. And I'm sure in your communities, if you don't know what you would do if you had a large amount of gain overnight, talk to someone you trust in your community and have that conversation. I just think that's important.
I think that's super, super important. And Sin and I host a space every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and it's called the Volt Wealth Transfer Space. But it is open to all communities, and it's all about helping people think about how to be successful through the bull run and after the bull run. Because what's the point of getting through the bull run to not actually have any plans or be prepared to be successful afterwards? Because we're here for the long run, right? We want to make gains, but we actually want to have success afterwards. So and that is for everybody. So we welcome you and your entire community to join us and have conversations around getting prepared for success every Monday. So we'd love to have you guys there.
That's alpha to me. I love that. I didn't know about it, but I'll be there. I thank you. How cool is that? And there you go. So Monday nights, say it again. I'll have to share it on
8 p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern, and we've been having them for the past year. I think it's been about, and they're all recorded, so there's lots of them. And I will send you a link for the next one, and make sure that we get it shared with your community.
Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. I haven't been under a rock, I promise.
Well, there's so much information to keep track of and to find out there. So, but yeah, that's one that we do because we want people sort of thinking about this and making a plan, and not just for the bull run, but also afterwards. So yeah, and there's all sorts of different topics that we get into and discuss.
Very, very valuable, Volt. Kudos. That's awesome. I have one more question, and then I'll let either of you wrap up with some final comments, anything you want to say, and then I'll do a closing. But sometimes I'm new, right? And I haven't stepped out of my kind of like this kind of feel not siloed, but siloed at the same time, I guess you could say. Sometimes I'll go into a space or into a community and they haven't heard of Sharbi. Now, on the flip side of that, we do not spend a lot of money. We haven't spent a lot of money. The last 6 months, we've just been grinding and building, and anything we've grown that organically, really, like this homegrown growth. That being said, for Volt, sometimes what I felt like I was in this closed loop system, right? Like, oh, I haven't heard of Sharbi, and I get on X, and well, everyone's liking Sharbi stuff, right? And I'm like, wow, like you just said, Jen, like it's big. Yes, it's like 4%, but it is big, and I think it's going to continue to just grow, right? As people onboard into the space. But what would you say is a way, Volt? I know you've done extensive marketing and like the DoorDash and the e-bikes and the buses, but in the maybe the X space, or what we have access to maybe for projects that don't do large marketing pushes, what is a way that you've ever found to step out of that kind of maybe that loop to meet new investors or potential investors or anything like that? Like, any advice there?
I think there are a couple of things that we as Volt, as the Volt Army, have done, and that Voltoshi, has spearheaded. I want to say last August, sort of like going back the last year and a half. It might have been before August, last summer, maybe early summer, I guess. So a year and a half ago, one of our members, Space Chick, had said, you know what, guys, we are going on Spaces. We're going to do this every day of the week, whether you like it or not. And she was very strict about it, if you will, right? We're all like, oh, come on, we don't want to do this. And she did. She took us by the hand and she said, no, we're doing this, and we're doing this every single day. And we did. We moved from YouTube to Spaces, and we did Spaces every single day, and then we all started doing Spaces every single day on X, and that was sort of the start of it, I think. And we have a presence on X in Spaces, almost 2 Spaces every single day. We've dropped down a little bit, so it's not quite that right now, but kind of heading back up there again. So that's part of it. and then learning how to work those algorithms also, so you can maximize those spaces. So there's that, and then Voltoshi wanted to do NFT and crypto share spaces. So we did those, and the whole idea of those is to be able to promote other communities. So they're open mics for other communities. So that's part of it, and sort of networking. And so what we did with those specifically was to sort of to get to know other communities, right? We wanted other communities to come to be able to share their projects, so we could blow those projects up, where we would be promoting those communities. We would be hitting their tweets up, having them, drop their information up in the Voltidraw and down in the Volti bubble, and we would be pushing those out and then really getting to know those communities. We bought a lot of those communities NFTs and tokens and did giveaways and those kind of things, and really connected with communities. And we made a lot of friends, and so there was those elements, and we really do. A lot of those people have become Volt holders, and we do hold back a lot of those projects as well, and some of those projects, we took some of those NFTs and we put them into our Vault treasury, where those projects are highlighted, as well. So ways to sort of, cement friendships, those kind of things. There was another thought, and I think menopause brain is kicking in.
It's great.
Was,
shared great knowledge, both of you.
It'll come back to me. Go to Elle.
Okay, I'll take it, Jen. I'll take it. I mean, I don't know how I can come back after what Jen just said, because that's perfect. That is absolutely the way to do it, is to make friends along the way. And then the other big thing that I notice works is, like I mentioned earlier, you have this developer side of the project, but then you have this army. Utilize that army, and we're really good at that. We're good at rating people, whether you want us there or not. You ask us, you know how they post, those daily things like, what's the ticker, or what, I'm done with the pump and dumps, what's a good strong project, those posts that they have almost every day. Hit those up. We don't care what it is. We just want that Vault name out there. We want you to see it, because the time will come when people are like, man, I know Vault. I've seen it somewhere. I've heard of it somewhere. Whether it is on buses, like Jim mentioned, we have a couple that literally got into Vault because they saw a bus pass by in LA, or whether it was a billboard. But the army itself are doing an amazing job of just spreading the Vault ticker. What's the ticker? Vault Inu. That's what the ticker is. Here's the website, or I like to just drop like Vault Inu's official X page, because I feel like people are maybe more comfortable than just clicking on like a website link or whatever. If you just drop like your main X page to like Vault Inu or Sharbi, I feel like maybe that's a little better. But I personally, I feel like when the army comes together, we've literally trended on the say. It's like, let's trend today, and we just go hard, and it's like, and then we go back a few hours later, and Vault is trending. It's like, yay, let's go! Good job, Vault Army.
Yes,
it really is. It's bullish, and then many other just brilliant people out there that are very great with coming up with their own ideas, like how they're marketing Vault Inu on their own, like with stickers or something. A space chick would do that all the time, Jen, where she would just stick a Vault sticker on a wall as she was, if she's taking a walk somewhere or whatever, and we do that a lot. I have a Vault sticker on my car everywhere I drive. They see it whether they know what it is or isn't. We have
Yeah.
Vault members who have wrecked their cars with Vault email and the website. It's just utilize your army to also do the marketing on their own as well. That's what I would say too.
Yeah, that
And
whole army came out strong this morning because I sent Jen, I made the X post, right? And I posted it to Sharbi. And then like just a little bit later, my notifications were like boom, 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 boom. And I was like, Volt Army activate. Like they were just on the thing, like they were all on it. And I was like, wow, like it almost can give you goosebumps, right? Like I was like, that's community. That is that's what this is about, right? Like it's really great, really great. So anyway, it was just cool to see. I was like, Volt Army activate, my notifications were blowing up.
that's awesome. Yeah. And you'll notice in a space, right? If one of us turns up, another 10 are going to show up, right? Because of our PFPs, right? And that makes a real impact in spaces, right? So, I don't
Huge.
know, if your members, all have, NFTs or have, the same, have Sharpie images, but that really makes an impact when you show up in a space. And if you have, like, we have the volted, we have the lightning bolt, right, with our names as well. We have the double tag, if you will. That makes a true impact. It really goes down well in Twitter.
Yeah, I love it when we come in and they're like, who are these guys with the lightning bolts? And we love hearing that. It's like, yeah, there you go. That's how it works.
Well, this has just been I mean, we're at 1,345 live right now. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And I mean, I feel like I could go on all night. I really enjoy talking to both of you. Thank you so much for sharing all of your knowledge in this space. It's inspiring. It truly is. And I know that Volt Army is strong. You can just feel it. And I'm excited. I'm excited. And uh before we close up, I'll give each of you the floor to just do like your final thoughts, and then I can do some final thoughts for Sharbi if you're there.
Sounds good. Do you want to go, El?
Yeah, of course, I'll go. Thank you, all dolled up. We appreciate you having us, and I've had fun as well. We have 1,300 people. That's a lot of people, so that's beautiful. I love that everyone, tuned in and listened a little bit about Vault. If you haven't heard of Vault, you're living under a rock. I just tease. Do your own research. Absolutely. That's the only thing I could say is, don't take our word for it. Go find out for yourself. Go into Vault Official with a check mark on X. Access those links. Access the website through the official Vault page. And then there you'll find everything from our link tree to the NFTs to, partnerships massive partnerships like Chainlink and CoinGecko and OKX and just a slew of people that are interested in what Vault has to offer, and I sometimes say, pay attention to who's paying attention to Vault because that's going to give you a big clue there. And yeah, we appreciate you having us, and I enjoyed my time. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Elle. It was really great meeting you. Thank you.
Nice
Jen?
meeting you too, Mama.
It certainly has been fun, and I really appreciate you having the two of us here for sure. It's been nice getting to know you as more. I look forward to knowing more about Sharbi for sure. And I want to give a shout out to Carlos, who introduced me to you and kept talking to me about getting you onto the Volt Spaces. And I do hope that you keep coming back. Volt, it's certainly a project, very, very dear to my heart. And I very much appreciate where Voltoshi is coming from. And that's what really keeps me so passionate about the project, is that he is building a project that is there to help other projects, and that's how we thrive. And it's the utilities that we have that it's because we offer them to other people to use them, and that do have things like a burning mechanism in the back end for us that will give us this self-rising floor. And there's other things we haven't even talked about, like Volta Eco. Right now, you do have to hold Volt and an NFT to be able to hold a spot in Volta Eco, right? But I mean that's that's an AI mechanism that we haven't talked about. So Volt has AI, with Volta Eco, and also AI with our SparkBot, right? And SparkBot is out there for anybody that wants to trade. Either on the BSC network or Ethereum. Now, that's not to say that it may not move to other chains. I'm not saying it will, but what I am going to say is that anything that makes sense is what you can expect from Voltoshi. So, so as far as VoltaChange or SparkBot, you may find that that does go to other chains, right? Because, like I said, sense, you can expect that Voltoshi may go down that route, right? Because that's what he's always shown us. So VoltaChange, it will burn your project if you don't have the deflationary mechanisms that you want. That's what VoltaChange is all about. And if you want a super safe trading bot, something that you can revoke permissions, from your tokens for free, because we forget that every time we make a trade, there is something left over that is like an open door that somebody can go and kind of claw something out of your wallets, right? That's what's happening every time we give somebody permission to do a trade, like in a contract. That's literally their living. So truly, you do want to revoke permissions. Now, I used to go and pay for that all the time, right? When I remembered. Now, if I use SparkBot, I can literally just push the button and have things revoked for me for free. So Voltoshi thinks of all these cool things, right? I mean, you could do limit order trading in DeFi with SparkBot. Now that button is also there waiting to be lit up in a future update, right? In VoltaChange, right? Things that I love, though, further, and again, who thinks about this, right? But that with something like VoltaChange and SparkBot, let's say you've got a DEX on your project that you love, right? You've got a bot on your project that you love because you've built it and it's branded for you and it's got your functions and features in it, right? But you don't have that deflationary mechanism in it, right? And you wish you could, right? Well, I mean, then you could partner with Volt, right? Let us put that deflationary piece in us. Let us put that VoltaChange burn tech in there for you, right? Why invent the wheel or move something that you're not good at? You're going to be good at something else that we can partner with you on, right? And go to you for your tech, So it's these kind of things, right? I love that everything that Voltoshi does is about sort of how could he fix a solution for you, right? We didn't even go to sort of gaming tonight, right? When you think about gaming, Volt has 2 games on Steam, right? The biggest gaming platform in the world. And maybe you don't want to be a gaming token, right? But maybe you have NFTs and you're thinking, you know what? I sure wish I could get exposure to the biggest gaming platform in the world, right? Well, Volta Island is built out so that you can take your NFTs and put them on Steam in Volta Island. You can literally play, like, see my PFP right here. I can take that Dragon NFT and I can have him play in his 3D, face on Volta Island, where you can take your NFTs and join us and get your NFT project out on Steam. So you don't have to build a game, right? So these are the kind of things that I love about Voltoshi, right? So you would have the same PR face, all that marketing on Steam. And when we go to Xbox and PlayStation, you go with us, right? I mean, it's brilliant. And what I love even more is that all these people would see you in the world and it would be onboarding people to crypto because they'd look at you and say, you know what, Sharbi? Look at you. You're in Xbox and PlayStation and Steam. and you're a crypto token, well, heck yeah, I actually bought into crypto. This is what it's all about, right? So, I mean, I just love this forward thinking. And this is everything that Voltoshi is doing, right? It is in all aspects of our project, right? So, I mean, we're sitting at like a 17 million market cap, right? We have 6 zeros. I mean, so as an investor, it's a wonderful project to hold because we have not had our bull run yet. We're going into our first bull run, and there are things that we haven't even launched, like our staking platform, like VoltiSoft. VoltiEco is coming pretty soon for us to go into the next one. I mean, I think it's out there already collecting airdrops. I don't know that for sure, but I think it is. So when we get a chance to jump in that pool this time, it's going to be big. So I mean, this is just like a tip of the iceberg about what I can tell you about Volt. Just as we wrap up. Super excited. I could talk about it forever. So I just want to thank you for having us. And yeah, love to do it again and love to have you come chat with Elle and I and tell us more about Sharbi. So thank you again.
Yes.
It's been lovely.
Now, here's the question. Does Voltoshi sleep? Does anyone know?
Do you want to know the secret?
Yes.
Do you want to know the secret?
Yes.
He sleeps in a tiny window. He sleeps in a tiny window just after we start the Wednesday share spaces, because they're held on the Voltino official spaces on his account, right? Okay. And so then he goes to sleep, and so then you will notice that if we when we end the spaces, we don't actually close them out. It's because he's asleep. And so sometimes people sit there with him for a couple of hours.
He does
because
sleep.
He falls asleep. Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
He really is. You'll pay if you walk into any of our spaces, you'll see him on every single one of them. It doesn't matter if Jin's holding a space or I'm holding a space or Latina's holding a space. It doesn't matter who. While is holding a space, he's there. It's like that partnership, and I love it. It's like I'm here, Vol Army, and we're here, Voltoshi, and we're gonna see this to the top. Yeah, so he's sweet, and I guess he sleeps for a little bit, Jen.
Yeah, not very much, but yeah. We do try and remember to close out the mics so that people aren't holding their own space while Totoshi's sleeping.
Get on there. It's like, well, what? No. Oh, goodness. Well, that's great. Well, again, thank you very much. And I would be honored to come and join you and the Volt Army in some spaces. I think it's wonderful. And I'm very grateful you came here. I would love to have you back. And maybe we can just take a deep dive into one kind of utility or into the AI or the gaming. I mean, I just got hit with so many things. We could probably go for another 2 hours or so, but this has just been really great. And anyone watching, like, we're just connecting really in this space, in this manner, like for the first time. And I just wanted to know more, and you did that. So thank you. And the community and all the comments, everyone that has tuned in. And in Queen fashion, Sharbi, I want to give my a few seconds to Sharbi. She is the multi-chain queen of memes. She currently sits on Ethereum, Shibarium, and Solana. We have been here 21 months. We are a legalized DAO in Panama. And everything Sharbi is doing is in order to create revenue streams, in order to share that with her holders. So paid to hold has kind of been our motto. When we launched on Solana, which is a 0% tax chain, we knew we had to implement ways to reward our holders on Solana. And so we created a Boom Boom Capital, the BBC investment fund. And through the BBC, if you hold enough Sharbi to be in our BBC, then you are part of sharing in the revenue through the utilities that we are building and creating. And we launched what's called the Sharbi Dream Factory. And through that, we offer services. It is we first offered our volume bot on Solana that we created, which is a white glove volume service for those on the Solana blockchain. And we're continuing to build it out. We offer legal services, true trending services, 4chan, and other just ways to really support small to mid-sized cap projects. And right now we have announced Sharbi.fun, which will be launching on Shibarium. And so we just announced that the week before last, and we're hoping we will probably have that out before the end of November. I can't give a specific date right now, but the UI, the effort, the time that's gone into it, I know in Sharbi fashion, she will probably go multi-chain. But in launching on Shibarium, the cool part about Sharbi.fun is that even if you hold on Solana, you are going to earn revenue and rewards for Sharbi.fun on Shibarium. So there is going to be a lot of rewards and bonuses, not only for the developers that might launch on the platform, but also the investor. So you're still going to be rewarded for holding on Solana, even though we are launching a utility on Shibarium to start with. So I've just been, the meetings and the all the stuff you have to do in the background, but very, very bullish, very excited. It's our biggest utility to date. I think that once people see the platform and all the features and everything it has to offer, if anyone listening is interested, if they're a developer in launching through Sharbi.fun on Shibarium, we just want to say that Sharbi will support you through that. Whether that's marketing, any support that you might need, we're just going to be there for you. So reach out to us on that. And last but not least, being multi-chain and probably the Volt community might get lots of questions like this as well. It can get confusing to an investor. So Sharbi is like on 3 chains. But a lot of if you go into your trust, right, it can't read that it's on 3 chains. And so what we created was a Git book. This is 5 months of a labor of love for sure. But another DAO member and I created this Git book, and we fully explain the entire Sharbi ecosystem. And anything you want to know, I hope that the answer is in our Git book. You can find that. Just go to our official X page and follow the link there. Will take you to the Sharbi Git book, and it's going to explain the entire ecosystem for you. And at the end of the day, right, I don't want any Sharbi holder to ever have to sell because they are earning enough passive income. This residual income you earn through these built out utilities, that there's no reason to sell your Sharbi because you're making income passively through other revenue channels that we develop. So yeah, it's been a long ride. We've been in the trenches. I do feel like we're very undervalued at this moment, but I think we are now at a place after 21 months, being a CTO too. I call us an OG CTO, but everything we went through needed the 21 months to get there. So I feel like we're at a time now, and you've seen me showing up to these spaces and really kind of circling back to that networking, because we've built the infrastructure, we have the fundamentals in place, and now it's time for us to push and circle back and remind everyone, the value of Sharbi. So thank you so much. I want anyone listening for Volt Inu, like they said in the beginning, if you missed it, head over to their Telegram. If you have any follow-up questions from this stream, you're listening to this a week from now, 6 months from now, and you come across this, the Volt Inu community will welcome you. Find their TG through their X account, the official Volt Inu X. You can get a link to their Telegram. They are in there and they never leave. So anytime, don't worry, just go in there and they will answer any questions and fully support you. Any aspect of Volt Inu that you might want to talk about with someone. I know I can say now, matter of factly, that someone will be there to talk to you or answer any questions you type out in the chat. Thank you so much. I do want to say to everyone watching, it's very crucial that you conduct your own research. DYOR, none of this you've heard today here is financial advice. So before making any investment decisions, do your research. The content here includes opinions and perspectives, but these do not substitute professional advice. And that's very important. So do your own research. And I just am very grateful. And we're going to do it again. We've officially hit 1,560 of you. And we are very grateful for each and every one of you. And I think that is all I have. Unless Jen, Elle, you have any last words?
It's been a tremendous evening. Thank you for having us. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. I look forward to doing it again.
Thank you, everybody. Take care. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Love being here.